Press it back. 4 more like this. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, push up. Exhale, hips back. 3 more at your own pace.
Really, honey?
2 more. Last one. And release. Stretch it out in this child's pose. And you can let your hips sink on your heels. That same thing again here. Lift your chest up. Bring your hands, fingertips back behind you. Open up through your chest. And let's release. Come into our first downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So a little wider stance here. Hands are shoulder width distance apart before you lift your hips up and back. And make any little movements here that you would like.
Hold on, you guys.
Try to get as comfortable as possible in this pose. See if you can curl your tailbone up a little bit more.
You're fine. Come here.
We'll walk our feet to the top of the mat. Widen your feet a little bit so they're aiming more towards the sides of the mat. Your toes should still be pointing forward. Find your ragdoll hold. So relax your head, relax your neck, any arm variation that you want here. And maybe your legs are straight, maybe they're bent. Just make sure there's no discomfort in your lower back. Use this as an opportunity to fully relax your neck. Slow, steady breaths in and out through your nose. Now go ahead and release your hands to the mat. Keep your legs as they are. We'll come into bear pose, which is kind of like a variation of chair. So you're going to bend your knees until you have your thighs parallel to the floor, and you're also trying to keep your spine straight and parallel to the mat. Maybe you have your hands on the ground. Maybe you want to intensify by reaching your arms to the sides, or make it even harder by reaching your arms up overhead. So not a chair where our hips are down and our chest is up. This time we're trying to keep our chest and our hips at that same height with a 90-degree angle bend in our knees. 3 deep breaths. You got this. I know it's a tough one. Into Malasana, your yogi squat, heels in, toes out. Let your hips come down. Should feel nice to just release that. Hands at your heart to push your knees open a little bit wider. Slowing down your breath, slowing down your heart rate. We'll be making our way up to stand, transitioning through ragdoll pose first. So you can bend your knees and start to lift on up and just push into your heels to roll all the way up, coming up to stand. Head and shoulders lifting. Roll your shoulders down and away from your ears. You want your feet to be about hip width distance apart or so. We're just going to take a side bend before we flow. Left hand down your left thigh, and you can reach your right arm up and over. Let your right hip push out to the side. Just a big stretch. Coming all the way back up. Same thing on the other side. Right hand and right arm down. Left arm reaches up and over. Push into your left hip. Rising back up. Let's bring our elbows, the arms out in front of us, bent at a 90-degree angle, just a little cat and cow from here to really isolate and work through our upper back. So as you inhale, cactus with the arms, squeeze your shoulder blades behind you. And on the exhale, round and contract. Really isolate the upper body. A few more like this. Keep your belly engaged. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. Exhale, curl in. And let's release. Inhale, arms reach up. Swan dive, fold forward and down. Exhale. Halfway lift, flat back. Plant your palms, plank pose. And we're going to lower all the way to our belly. Hold here. Point your toes back once you're there. 3 little baby cobras. Inhale. Chin, chest, palms come up. Exhale down. 2 more. Inhale. Squeeze and lift. And release.
Oh, that one was rough.
Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Plant your palms. Find a full cobra pose this time. You want to keep your elbows bent. Push your hip bones into the floor, elbows in.
Hi, Bria.
And release. Downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Lifting up and back. Stretch it out here. And we can reach our right leg up to the sky. Bend your knee if that's comfortable. You can just keep it straight if that's what you prefer. See if you can push a little bit more into that left heel. And we'll find our low lunge on Anjaneyasana. Right foot to the top of the mat. Back knee comes down, your knee is over your ankle, and we're gonna push down to lift on up. And you can plant your palms together, looking past your thumbs. Think of lifting out of your lower back. Circle your arms wide, hands to the mat. Let's straighten that right leg. Ardha Hanumanasana, your half splits. We'll add a twist from here. So left hand and left fingertips should be underneath your shoulder. Flex that front foot and reach your right arm up to the sky. Different way of really working our lower body while integrating this twist. Come back through to center, same thing. And now this time, just let your hips sink all the way back onto that left heel, and we're gonna fold. And you can make this a little bit more passive. We're gonna stay here for a full 5 slow, steady breaths.
I'm doing different stuff than her right now, but it's fine.
I'm letting my spine round a little. Just letting gravity pull me deeper into the pose.
Thank you, security.
You can lift your head and chest up. We'll start to bend into that front knee again. And you can widen your stance a little bit. Tuck the back toes under, lift your back knee off the mat. And we're gonna reach the left arm forward, right arm back. And see if you can keep your stomach lifted off of your thighs slightly, just so you're not collapsing your weight fully here. Into your easy twist, left hand down, right arm up. Into your gecko pose. Bring your right hand to the inside of that right foot. You might need to toe heel and widen your stance a little. And I'm going to keep my back knee lifted for this one, just working on melting the hips and pelvis down. You might want to rock a little back and forth. You can always come down onto your forearms as well to intensify this stretch.
She's been going on my bed.
Some buoyancy in your hips. Still pushing down into your big right toe. Let's step it back, downward facing dog. Right foot steps back to meet the left. And maybe you'd like to hang out here, or if you'd like, you can take a vinyasa. Inhale, flowing through plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga, cobra, or your upward facing dog. And we meet back into our down dog, repeating the sequence on the second side. Left leg rises, maybe with your bent knee, or you can choose to keep your left leg straight if you prefer. Push down into your right heel. Anjaneyasana, your low lunge. Left foot to the top of the mat. Back knee comes down. My knee is over my ankle. And I'm pushing to lift on up. Pressing the hands together.
Thank you.
Looking past your thumbs. Try not to sink or collapse into your lower back here. Trying to lengthen the size of our waist. Circle the hands back down. Let's straighten our left leg. Half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. Square off through your hips and pelvis here. Make sure your right hand is underneath your shoulder and add your twist. Left arm up. If you can't breathe here, you've twisted a little too far. Bring your left hand back down, and we're just going to sink our hips all the way back.
Thank you.
On that right heel, and fold and release. Using this time in the pose to catch your breath, slow down your heart rate, to refocus and recommit. Let's start to lift back up, bend into that front knee. You can widen your stance a little bit here. Lift your back knee off the floor.
Wow.
Make sure left knee is over your ankle. We're going to reach right arm forward, left arm back. So I'm not collapsing all the way down. I'm trying to find somewhat of a diagonal line.
Stop. What's wrong?
Squeezing into that glutes, into your easy twist. So right hand plants down, left arm stretches up to the sky. Into your gecko pose, bring your left hand to the inside of your left foot.
So cute.
And you can just rock a little bit here, melting down through your hips. Soften your shoulders away from your ears. Maybe you choose to do this from your forearms. If you were down on your forearms, lift back up and we meet downward facing dog. Maybe you choose to hang up here or you take your flow. Plank, flowing down. Open up. Downward facing dog. From this downward dog, let's reach our right leg up. You can keep it straight and squared. We're just going to transition into our high lunge. So right foot steps forward, feet are hip width distance apart as you lift on up. Try to keep your hips and pelvis squared here. Extending your arms up overhead.
Thank you.
Really bending into that front knee.
Oops, sorry, honey.
Trying to stay stable here. You can bring your hands together at the front of your heart. Let's add our prayer twist. You're going to bring your left elbow to the top of your right knee and try to push away, push against that right thigh. So you're keeping your belly lifted, rolling your right shoulder back even more. And now looking down towards the mat, you can bring both hands down to frame that front foot and straighten your right leg, pyramid pose. Push back into that back heel.
You said let's troll more gifters? Less trolls, more gifters. I like it. Kind of. There's not really good gifters tonight.
You can bend into that front knee a little bit more here. We're going to
The other
step
night it was
forward
way
to
better,
the
so I
top of
honestly
the
might
mat.
stop.
Halfway lift, flat back.
Just because I'm not going to be doing
Exhale,
this
fold,
yoga
and
live
reverse your swan dive to come up.
if
So
I'm not being
lead with
gifted.
your heart. Inhale. Exhale. Bring your palms together to touch. Let's find our tree pose, Vrikshasana from here. So
Like top
stand
cat.
strong on that right leg, and you can bring your left foot anywhere to the inside of that leg that you'd like. Maybe your toes stay on the mat for more support. And see if you can really feel your right thigh push against your left foot.
Honey, what are you doing?
Maybe you decide to open up through your arms.
Tree pose.
pose. Steady breaths here.
Oop, oop.
Bring your hands back through to center. We're going to challenge our balance a little more. And this time you're just going to cross your left ankle to the top of that right knee into your standing pigeon pose. You're bending that right knee, sending your hips back, reaching your chest forward. If you want to focus on balance, you're going to stay where you are. If you want to focus on flexibility, see if you can bring your fingertips down to the mat.
Whoa. That one was good. Thank you, Josiah. Thank you, Kenny.
If you had your hands down, we transition back up and through the pose we were in before. Go ahead and lift all the release, shake it out. Let's take our vinyasa. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. You can step or hop back. I prefer to just step back to plank. I find it's better for my shoulders and for my elbows. We all meet back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog. Ready for the sequence on the second side.
Thank you, Kenny, for the bigger
reach our
gift.
left leg up to the sky, straight and square.
Not big, but bigger than one bean. I don't like the one beans. It's like
high lunge, Ashtachandrasana. Feet
Thank
are
you.
hip width distance apart. Make sure your shoulders are aligned over the tops of your hips. Your lower abdominals are hugging in.
Thank
Before
you.
you lift up and engage through your arms. So really
Thank
feeling
you,
that
Isidro.
energy move up through the feet,
Isidro.
travel up the body, and shoot all the way up through your fingertips. So every little muscle engaged and activated. Hands at heart center will initiate our twist. So your hips still face forward. It's really just your upper body that's going to twist. Right elbow lightly placed to the top of your knee, and try to push yourself up a little higher so you're not collapsing your upper body down. And push out into your left knee a little. So this strong pose. Looking down to the floor into your pyramid stretch. You can bring your hands down and just straighten that left leg. Push back into your right heel as you fold.
Oh.
You can lift your head and chest up, bend into your front knee just so you can step to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, flat back. Fold it down. Reverse your swan dive.
Thank you.
Lead with your heart. So you're going to lean your weight on your left leg. Bring your right foot wherever is appropriate to the inside of that leg. Push your left hip in towards your foot. Try not to grip your toes into the mat. I know that can be tricky. And any arm variation that you want here. The key to good balance, well, there's a lot that goes into it, but your gaze really helps. So try to keep it still and focus on something in front of you, something that is not moving. And we'll come from here into standing pigeon pose, so you can bring your hands to your heart, and we're just going to cross that right ankle over the top of our left knee. Start to bend into that left knee as you send your hips back and move your chest forward. Maybe you hold here, or you can go deeper into your right hip by bringing your fingertips down to the floor. And Go ahead and lift up with your chest. Come back out the same way we came in. And let's release. Shake it out. Take your flow. Inhale. Arms wide. Fold down all the way. Exhale. Halfway lift. Flat back. Plant your palms. Step or hop back. Go through your vinyasa. We all meet Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let's go ahead and reach our right leg up to the sky. Bend your knee. Open up your hip. And now maybe you choose to stay here. If you'd like to transition to your wild thing, you're going to drop that right foot back behind you. Push your hips up. Push into your feet. You to transition to your wild thing. You're going to drop that right foot back to stay here. If you'd like to transition to let's go ahead and reach our right leg up to the sky. Bend your knee. Open up your hip. And now maybe you choose to stay here. If you'd like to transition to your wild thing, you're going to drop that right foot back behind you. Push your hips up. Push into your feet. Reach that right arm up and over. And carefully transition back out. We're coming to Virabhadrasana 2, your warrior 2. So right foot steps to the top of the mat.
That was rough.
Back foot parallel to the shorter edge of your mat. Push your feet into the floor to lift on up. Try to stay steady here. We're going to interlace our hands behind our lower back. Roll your shoulders back. Lift up through your chest and dive forward and down. Humble warrior. Reaching your knuckles up and over. Keep your head nice and heavy. Come all the way back up through to your warrior 2. Open up your arms, straighten your right leg. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Aligning your left arm over your right one. And you can just look down to the floor. We're going to come from here into our pigeon pose. Actually, let's do one more pose before that one. So bend into that front knee, lift your back knee off the mat, and then you can drop it down. And we're going to add a quad stretch here. Left hand stays where it is. Reach your right hand back. See if you can grab a hold of that left foot and pull it in towards your glutes. Try to keep your hips nice and heavy. Really getting deeper into our quads, into our thighs. Woo. And let's carefully release. Now let's transition into our pigeon pose. So you can toe heel that foot over to the side of your mat. Square off the pelvis. Any variation, if you want to work on mermaid or king pigeon, you can go into it. I'm just going to fold straight down. We'll stay a good, slow 10 breaths here. Really just inviting our right hip to relax and release a little more.
I actually forgot to take my medication. My pills.
Find that natural, smooth breath rhythm. Maybe inhaling for a count of 3 or 4 and exhaling for that same count. Relax your shoulders and your chest. Just notice what your practice brings up. You can just start to walk your hands in, lift your chest. We're going to stay seated, coming into a half knee pile pose. So you can kind of just lean over onto your right hip, and we're going to extend our left leg out in front of us. And now just cross your right thigh over the left one. So we're trying to of the left one.
20.
Like a half Gomukhasana cow face pose. Really
Thank you,
working on our
crazy.
hamstrings here.
20%.
You can walk your hands forward and fold down. I think maybe in like the top 5 most intense stretches for me personally. So don't worry if you're not going very far into this one.
Jimmy.
Just a really, really wonderful way of targeting the posterior chain.
How are you, Jimmy? Stop, honey. Hello.
Let's lift on up, uncross the legs, boat pose, Navasana, any variation of this one that you would like. So knees can be bent or straight. You're lifting your chest up towards the sky, drawing your shoulder blades back. And you can cross at the ankles, downward facing dog. Press it back, should feel really nice here. And maybe you hold where you are or you take your flow. Let's find this pose or this sequence.
How are you
over on the
guys?
second side. Okay, left leg rises. Bend your left knee,
Thank you,
open
Jimmy,
up your hip.
for
Maybe
saying
you
that.
just choose to stay in this 3-legged dog, or you can flip over. Wild thing, left foot steps back behind you. Push into both legs. Reach that left arm up and over. Really challenging on slippery carpet. Push down into that right hand. We'll be moving into your Vajrasana 2, your Warrior 2. So your left foot steps to the top of the mat, back foot parallel to the shorter edge of your mat. Go ahead and lift on up. And really focus on pressing that left thigh open. We're going to interlace our hands the more unusual way. So you have your other thumb on top and then dive down, humble warrior. Relax your head, keep your hips nice and low. Let's push our feet into the floor to come back up. And you can straighten that left leg. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Reach your left arm forward and down. Right arm up to the sky.
We're almost at 3,000 beans. Almost at 3,000 beans for this live. Thanks to Ivy, because she came in and gifted 2K beans.
Look down to help with balance a little here. You're going to bend into that front knee. We'll take our low lunge with a quad stretch. So you can lift your back heel off the floor. Drop your right knee to the mat.
Oh my God.
Back with your left hand. See if you can pull that right heel in.
What was that? Jimmy, thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you so much.
Melting those hips forward and
There's a
down.
5K. Thank you, Jimmy.
Let's carefully release, transitioning into your pigeon pose. Any variation, whatever you did on that first side, try to replicate it again here. 10 deep breaths. Just to melt.
Yes, Ivy's one of my friends on here.
And really noticing what your internal dialogue is like when things get hard. Especially when we're doing something, it's an hour-long practice. It does tend to bring some stuff up. This is the point of yoga.
Like how I'm
How
depressed.
can you really sit with challenge, with difficulty, with tension, with things not going your way? Can you step out of this critical, judgmental, or comparing egoic mind?
I'm just hoping.
Develop that presence and awareness. Knowing that you can absolutely do hard things. and that we want things to come up
could
for
be
us
better
throughout our practice. This is a wonderful way to process
but how are you?
mental and emotional blocks, as well as, of course, working on strengthening and opening our physical bodies. Walk your hands in so you can lift up, and we'll find that half knee pile pose. So you can just rock over onto your left hip.
That's kind of where I'm at
Swing
too.
that
I'm just
right leg
alive.
out in front of you, and you're going to try to
I'm just
stack your
existing.
left knee over your right one here as much as possible, and fold on down. And I say fold very loosely. Just kind of intend your chest and your spine to melt down. So embracing the fullness of the experience, regardless of the emotions that come up.
Honey makes me feel better. Honey makes me feel better.
And come on up.
Cute little dachshund.
Navasana, boat pose. Last little bit of core strength here. Any arm variation that you want.
Yes, hi. Yes, hi.
And we'll cross at the ankles. Downward facing dog. Holding here or taking your flow.
Downward facing dog.
And we all meet back in this down dog. And we'll just walk our feet to the top of the mat. You can bend your knees generously, push into your heels, roll all the way up to stand, inch by inch. Shrug your shoulders down and away. Let's open up our feet and legs.
Cat.
And find your little goddess temple pose here. So heels in, toes out.
Thank you,
can
Aussie
open
dog.
up your arms, and we'll bend the elbows,
Cat.
bend the knees. Really think of squeezing those
Ooh.
thighs open, pressing the floating ribs in. Sink it down a little lower.
That was nice.
Find Skandasana. So you can bring your hands down to the mat. You're going to bend into that right knee. Left leg is straight. Sink down as low as you can here. Over to the other side. Left knee bends. Right leg straightens. Flex into that foot.
Kind of do it a little different, but
And we'll just come through to
just
center.
depends.
To a wide-legged forward fold. Any variation with the arms.
Yeah. If you like a certain pose
Any
or
variation of this pose that you prefer.
you like what you're seeing, please gift.
And maybe you'd like to stay here.
Because I might be
you want to
doing
add a
yoga
headstand.
lives for only
This is a
gifters.
great pose to come into it. You can interlace your hands. And delicately placing crown of the head, however you want to get there.
Oh my gosh, she's doing a headstand. We'll see. She's very good. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Steady.
She's like perfectly
Shoot
holding
the energy up
it.
through your toes.
Holy shit. Well, we'll try it. We'll try it.
You can come out gently, same way you got into it.
Oh my gosh.
Meeting back in this wide-legged forward fold. Shake out your head.
Y'all.
And just toe heel your feet a little bit closer towards one another. Bend into your knees and come all the way back down. So we'll start to slow down our practice.
Okay, yeah.
Cooling
I should do
things
that.
off. Keep your left foot to the inside of your thigh. Reach
You
your
almost
right
had
leg
it.
up
I know,
and
I did almost have it. I'm gonna try it back there.
Side body stretch.
Thank
Left
you.
arm reaching up overhead. Roll your
But it
left
hurts my
shoulder
head.
back. Lifting up, baby wild thing, left hand back. Press your hips up. Right arm stretches up and over. Let your hips come back down. Turn to face towards
Stop,
your
honey.
right
Stop.
knee, right
Get out.
shin. Fold.
Stop it.
Oh. Well, okay, I got the...
Coming up.
Because Honey was pissing me off. She wants me to play with her.
Inner thigh, left leg out. Let's start with a side bend. Right arm up.
She.
Little effort here.
Oh, Johnny, you fucking
right
bitch.
hand to the mat.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Reach your hips. Reach that left arm up and back. Little counter twist, counter stretch. Hips come back to the floor. You're going to face over towards your left leg and fold on down.
Oh, Johnny. She's a demon.
Let's open up both legs into our straddle fold. Dive directly forward.
She is literally a demon.
Out in front of you. 10 slow, steady breaths here. Just letting gravity take you deeper into the pose.
Stop it. Please stop it.
See if you can melt your head down a little lower. Lock your hands in.
Almost done,
You
y'all.
can use your hands to help your knees.
We're almost done.
Just come to take a seat in any way that's comfortable for you. We'll stretch into our upper back and shoulders a little more. Taking your Garudasana eagle arms. So bend your elbows out at a 90-degree angle. Wrap your right arm under your left. Maybe also wrap at the wrists. And I want you to push your shoulders down. Lift your elbows up without lifting the shoulders. And then move your hands away from your face. Keep pushing your forearms towards one another, and you can dip your chin to your chest. Breathe through your upper back. And lift your head up, open up your arms. Let's find a side bend. Right arm reaches up and over. Inhale, lift back up. Same thing to the other side.
Naughty piece of shit.
To center, eagle arms
Naughty.
to the other side. So bend your elbows. Left arm under the right this time, binding once or twice. Shoulders down, elbows up. Hands move away from you, and then maybe tuck your chin to your chest.
You guys want to take a wild guess what she just did?
Lift your head up, unwind, open up your arms. Let's take a little twist this time. Left hand to your right knee. And right hand to your left knee.
Okay, y'all, I'm going to have to pause.